From the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub Podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
Good morning, security gang. Welcome to another episode of the CyberHub Podcast. Happy Thursday, y'all. June 13th, 2024. A packed show yesterday, unfortunately, and I forgot to tell y'all on Tuesday when I recorded the live show on Tuesday. Wednesday was a Jewish holiday, and I was off for the holiday. Spent time with my family and with my community in an all-night study, a Torah study, and then obviously getting back into it. But today's show is packed because I've got 2 days to make up for it, and I've got 15 minutes to do it. So first of all, special thanks to our friends over at Nudge Security, who thanks to their efforts, I'm able to continue to bring you this awesome content. So go check out nudgesecurity.com/cyberhub to get a 14-day free trial of their amazing SaaS platform. You'll hear more from Nudge later in the show, so stay tuned and please go check out their 14-day trial. Reward them for supporting our show and continuing to bring this to all of y'all. Now, without further ado, subscribe, follow, like, share, and join me for a coffee cup cheers. I've got my espresso. What are you drinking this morning? Let me know in the comments. Coffee cup cheers, y'all. Espresso, and we go. So a recent PHP vulnerability that's leading to a remote code execution is already being exploited in ransomware attacks days after its initial public disclosure, according to Impreva. The CVE 2024-4577 impacts Windows servers using Apache and PHP CGI when the system configuration allows for the use of certain code pages, which allows attackers to inject arguments and execute arbitrary code. The root cause of the issue is that the PHP implementation did not consider Windows best fit behavior, which controls the conversion of Unicode characters to the closest matching ANSI characters, or ANSI. Because of the oversights, attackers can supply specific character sequences that will be converted and supplied to the PHP CGI module, which may misinterpret them as PHP options and pass them to the binary being run. It affects all PHP versions on Windows, including the discontinued version 8.0. Also 7 and 5 were addressed last week with the release of PHP versions 8.1.29, 8.2.20, and 8.3.8. You want to make sure you get these updated ASAP. This attack vectors are already being used in campaigns, including web shell upload attempts and several attempts to place ransomware on these systems. The attacker deployed the tell you the pass ransomware as a .NET executable, which is loaded directly into memory, making it harder to detect. Once executed, the malware establishes communication with its CNC server, then it enumerates directories, stops running processes, generates the required encryption keys, and start encrypting files with specific in extensions that belong to it. These guys have been mainly taking advantage of these Apache Log4j types of attacks and active MQ. So you want to get this patched up as soon as humanly possible. CVE 2024-26169er is an elevation of privilege bug in the Windows error reporting service that could be exploited to achieve system privilege. It was patched in March of 2024, but the threat actor Black Pasta have exploited a recently disclosed privilege escalation flaw as a zero-day, according to Semantic. The analysis of the exploit tool deployed in recent attacks revealed evidence that it could have been compiled prior to patching, meaning at least one group may have been exploiting the vulnerability as a zero-day in the report shared with our friends over at the Hacker News. The financially motivated threat cluster is being tracked by the company under the name Cardinal, and which is also known as Storm 1811 or also UNC 43903. It's known to monetize access by deploying the Black Basta ransomware, usually by leveraging initial access obtained by other attackers like CACBot and Darkgate. All in all, in recent months, the threat actors have been observed using legitimate Microsoft products like Quick Assist and Microsoft Teams as attack vectors as well. The tool is being used as part of an attempted but unsuccessful ransomware attack. The tool takes advantage of the Windows file using a null security descriptor when creating registry keys, it explained. So the exploit takes advantage of this. It creates an HKLM software Microsoft Windows NT current version image file execution option Warfall.exe. Did you get all of that? If you got it, you're a superstar. And if you didn't, don't worry. I was reading it off really, really fast. But good news. The link is in the show notes. You can go and check it out at your leisure whenever you want. It's It's also available on our Substack, so go there as well. So threat actors are doing all of that. According to Google Mandiant, the ransomware epidemic witnessed a 75% increase in posts on data leak sites. More than 1.1 billion has been paid to attackers in 2023, up from 567 million in 2022 and 983 million in 2021. So they're in a 2022 a down year. Now they're back up and at it again. So there's that resurgence there as well. Let's get into Patch Tuesday, but before we do, a message from our friends over at Nudge Security.
When your CEO asks, hey, are we using that SaaS app that was just breached? How quickly and confidently can you answer? Due to the sprawling nature of SaaS app adoption, it's hard to know who is using what and to understand the implications when a popular SaaS app is breached. To solve this, Nudge Security discovers and categorizes every account for every SaaS app ever created by anyone in your organization. And a full inventory of all SaaS accounts is available within minutes of starting a free trial. Not only will you know who's using what, but you can automate communications out to end users, called nudges of course, that remind them to enable MFA, shut down unused accounts, enroll apps in SSO, etc. And Nudge Security will notify you of breaches impacting your SaaS provider so you can take immediate action to mitigate the impact. Start a 14-day trial now at nudgesecurity.com/cyberhub.
I'm grateful to the team over at Nudge. If you missed the episode with their co-founder and CTO Jaime Velasco on Friday last week, go check it out. A lot of really good nuggets in there. There's shorts available on our YouTube channel and obviously on our Instagram channel that you can catch kind of minute snippets of that episode as well. Let's get into our Patch Tuesday here because we've got a lot of stuff happening. So Microsoft issued a fix for 49 different vulnerabilities in its Patch Tuesday security update that every IT and security person loves, because why not do it all in one day? The issue CVE 2024-30080 has a CVSS score of 9 or 0.8. It's remotely exploitable. It's a low attack complexity, requires no privilege, takes no user interaction, and carries high impact on confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Going forward, I'll just say the CIA triad. Attackers can use it to completely take over an affected server by sending a specially crafted malicious MSMAQ packet to check vulnerability, confirm users should whether the message queuing service is running, and if TCP port 1801 is open to the system. The bug affects all versions of Windows, starting from Windows Server 2008 and 10. And impacts could be felt in the threat landscape sooner rather than later, so patching it is really, really important. According to Shodan searches, there's million hosts running with port 1801 open and over 3,500 results for MSMAQ. So there's that as well. Additional CVEs patched were 2024-30103. That's our remote code execution in Microsoft Outlook, in which the preview pane is an attack vector. CVE 2024-30089 are a vulnerability in Microsoft streaming service that gives attackers a way to gain system-level access. CVE 2024-30085, a privilege escalation bug in Windows Cloud Files. Mini filter driver that Microsoft has identified as more likely to be exploited. And finally, CVE 2024-30099 an elevation of privilege vulnerability in Windows kernel driver that attackers can abuse to take over an affected system. We move to ICS vendors. Siemens, Schneider, and Aviv have all issued vulnerabilities. Siemens published 14 new security advisories that cover more than 120 vulnerabilities. The company has made the patches and mitigations available for these. A majority of the flaws impact third-party components, and their existence has been known since at least last year. Aviva published 2 security advisories on Tuesday. One of them informed customers about a high-severity local code execution vulnerability in the PI Asset Framework client, and the second covers a high-severity remote code execution vulnerability impacting the Pi Web API. Schneider Electric published 5 new advisories describing a total of 11 vulnerabilities. 6 have been patched by the industrial giant in the Sage RTU, including a critical authentication bypass vulnerability, 2 high-severity issues that can be exploited to cause disruption for unauthorized file or firmware uploads, and 3 medium-severity denial-of-service flaws. CISO has also published several ICS advisories, including high-severity denial-of-service vulnerability in the Rockwell Automation Control Logics, Guard Logics, and Compact Logics controllers, a critical code execution and data exposure issue in the Intrendo 911 emergency gateway, and 2 high-severity information disclosure and code executions in the MicroDecom medical software. So all in all, there's that. Fortinet also patched up a whole bunch of their products, including a severe issue in CVE 2024-23110, which collectively tracks multiple stack-based buffer overflow security defects in the platform's command line interpreter. Successful exploitation of the flaw may allow an authenticated attacker to execute unauthorized code or commands via specially crafted command line argument. The bug impacts all 40OS versions 6.x and 7.x and was addressed with the latest versions of each, respectively. So there's that for Fortinet. Several other vulnerabilities there as well. Google and Mozilla on Tuesday announced the release of Chrome 126 and Firefox 127 to the stable channel, which patches multiple high-severity memory safety vulnerabilities. Chrome fixed 21 security fixes, including 18 for defects reported by external researchers who received over $160,000 in bug bounty for their findings. The highest reward was for CVE 2024-5839, described as a medium severity inappropriate implementation in memory allocator, but the person was rewarded with $100,000 for that vulnerability. So all in all, not a bad day. On the externally reported flaws, and again, this is on the browser side, so you want to make sure you get those auto patched right when it comes out. That should be pretty easy today with several of the vulnerability management and patch management tools that are available when a new version of the browser is out. Push it out, make sure the team updates, and move on with life. That's the easiest way to do it. Apple on Monday updated Vision OS, the operating system for its Vision Pro virtual reality headset, to version 1.2. It addressed several vulnerabilities, including what may be the first security flaw that is specific to this product. It patched nearly 24 vulnerabilities. However, a vast majority of them are in the component that Vision OS shares with other Apple products like iOS, macOS, and tvOS. However, the security advisory also updated could lead to arbitrary code execution, information disclosure, privilege escalation, and denial of service. The vulnerability that stood out for many is CVE 2024-27812. It appears to be the only CVE that's specific to the headset itself, and it's not listed in the advisories for any Apple product other than Vision OS. According to Apple, it's related to the processing of a specially crafted web content, and exploitation could lead to a denial of service condition. If you didn't think VR headsets were going to have security vulnerabilities, you are wrong. Wrong again. All right, let's continue to knock this out the ballpark. Google has also rolled out a massive Pixel security update alongside a warning that one of its patch vulnerabilities is already being exploited in the wild. That Zeroday CVE 2024-32896 described as an elevation of privilege issue in Pixel firmware. The bug carries a high severity rating. Google didn't share details of the Zeroday beyond a single line in the Pixel security bulletin, that it may be under limited targeted exploitation. So you want to make sure you get that addressed as soon as humanly possible. CISA is warning that criminals are now impersonating employees of CISA in attempting to deceive potential victims into transferring money to the agency. This is part of a broader trend in which fraudsters are trying to legitimize their scams by using government employees' titles and names, meaning they're going on LinkedIn, they're identifying people, and then they're contacting, asking for money, cash, crypto, or gift cards. CISA, and if you fall for that, by the way, you deserve it. If CISA's calling you, asking you for money, and it's the government asking you for money, whether IRS, CISA, or anyone else, just say no. Just say, send me a letter. I'll look it up. Give me your phone number. I'll call you back. And then go to the website and call the number on the website. Guarantee you, every time it works. Not 60% of the time it works every time. 100% of the time it works every time. Finally, the victims of the Snowflake type incident are starting to come forward. LendingTree is confirming that one of its subsidiaries, quote, Wizard, was one of the victims of the wider attack on Snowflake. A spokesperson for LendingTree told Recorded Future News that that they were informed by Snowflake directly of the incident involving, quote, Wizard, which is an insurance information platform acquired by LendingTree in 2018. They're confirming that they used Snowflake for business operation, and they were notified by, quote, Wizard, that they may have had some data impacted by the incident. And, obviously all of that as well. So they've come forward, and Pure Storage is also confirming that they were victims of the Snowflake incident, which contained telemetry data it uses for customer support services. The company said in its own security bulletin, telemetry information cannot be used to gain unauthorized access to customer systems, but nonetheless, they're taking action to take care of that. So there's that for them as well. That's it for our show today. We'll be back on Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern with the latest and greatest. Friday, we may or may not have a show tomorrow, and I'll tell you why. There's a few scheduling issues there that we have to try and address in order for Chris and I to come back online. If you have any topics, any stories you want to share, please let us know. Please subscribe to our podcast. Please share, comment, like. We value discussion. We appreciate different opinions. So let us know how we can be better for you and what content really matters. Till then, have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend if I don't see y'all tomorrow. And most importantly, stay cyber safe.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.